Okay, thank you. Please share your presentation,
Sure.
PPT. So,
मैं वीडियो पे आई Okay, so okay.
yes, okay, please
Can you see my
continue.
screen?
Yes, please continue.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. This is Anza Fatima from Southwest University of Political Science and Law, a PhD scholar. And I would be presenting on the topic Women Journalists in Pakistan Under Digital Siege. Okay. So starting from the introduction, digital harassment of women journalists in Pakistan is not a marginal online problem, but a pervasive violation of fundamental human rights that reshapes who can speak, what can be said, and at what cost. So my paper, it situates this abuse within a violent media environment marked by censorship, political pressure, and entrenched misogyny, where the rapid uptake of digital platforms has expanded women's visibility while deepening their exposure to gendered attacks. Using a human rights law lens like ICCPR, CEDAW, ICCR, and related interpretations, it argues that platform-enabled harassments infringes rights to freedom of expressions, privacy, dignity, equality, and safe working conditions. The analysis it traces gaps in Pakistan constitutional and statutory framework and in platform governance and proposes legal, institutional, and platform reforms to create safer, egalitarian digital spaces for women journalists. Moving on to my next slide, that is about my research questions. And basically, it is focused on four categories, starting from the right violations. How does digital harassment of women journalists violate rights to freedom of expression, privacy, equality, and safe working condition? The second questions that I have worked on in my paper is covering legal gaps. And the question is, where do Pakistan's constitutional and legal frameworks fall short in addressing platform-enabled harassment? The third question is more of likely related to international duties, which says that what duties do Pakistan and global platforms bear under CEDAW, ICCPR, and related standards to prevent, investigate, and remedy this abuse? Last but not least, reform solutions. So, what legal, institutional, and platform level reforms are needed to build safer, gender responsive digital spaces for women journalists? I have also discussed in my presentation some key findings that is in this slide. So, in addition to this, the first one is focused on how harassment operates, which I have divided into three categories. The first one is patterned and gendered abuse. Digital harassment includes doxing, stalking, deepfakes, and sexualized imagery, rape, and death threats, smear campaigns, and coordinated trolling that attack both professional credibility and moral characters. Moreover, we have network amplification. Brigades often aligned with political actors or ideological groups use platform architectures like code trees, replies, tendering systems to amplify abuse, creating a sense of inescapable and ambient hostility. Moreover, we have silencing through fear, which says that this hostile environment pushes women to self-censor, avoid certain topics, use pseudonyms, or withdraw from digital spaces altogether, effectively narrowing the boundaries of acceptable speech for women journalists. My second key finding is focused on the human rights and legal gaps. So we have here constitutional failures, PECA shortcomings, and structural dismissal. Under constitutional failures, we have Article 14, 19, and 25 that are undermined by weak enforcement, patriarchal policing cultures, and political interference. While we have PACA shortcomings that are cybercrime procedures like a gender-sensitive, survivor-centered approach, and the cases are slow and, of course, underreported. The last is structural dismissal that says that the cases are frequently dismissed as personal dispute rather than structural gendered violence. My third finding is based on platform and international duties, which are four, and the first is language gaps. So global platform under is in Urdu and regional language moderation, while we have ineffective tools that are opaque and ineffective reporting mechanism that fail survivors. In addition to that, we have accountability gap too, that says that state and platforms deflect responsibility while women absorb costs. And we have harmful algorithms that says that engagement-driven systems, it rewards sensational, abusive content. So I have also discussed some international obligations, just like under CEDAW, Pakistan must address discrimination and gender-based violence by private and digital actors. ICCPR and ICCR further require protection of expression, privacy, equality, and safe working conditions, all directly undermined by digital harassments. The core argument that my paper based on are three things that are structural gender injustice. Platform-enabled harassment is structural gender injustice, not the isolated incident. And it systematically polices women's presence in the public sphere and discipline those visibility, because abuse targets women precisely for being visible, opinion-shaping professionals, so it functions as a tool to narrow who participate in democratic debate, whose voices are considered legitimate. The last is hollowing rights. When the price of speaking is persistent, sexualized violence, threats, and reputational destructions, women's formal right to freedom of expression becomes hollow, and press freedom itself is skewed towards those least targeted by gender abuse. So I will conclude my presentation by saying that digital harassment of women journalists in Pakistan constitutes a sustained violation of human rights that erodes not only individual safety and dignity, but also the conditions of pluralistic issue rather than online toxicity or personal conflict, clarifies state and platform obligation and centers women journalists' safety as integral to press freedom and gender equality. When women journalists are silenced, of course, democracy itself is diminished. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you. Dr. Anza, a note